This video is going to cover finding the volume of a cylinder, cone, and sphere. The first thing that we're going to be going over are going to be the formulas. The formula for the cylinder, which is going to be the first figure, is going to be volume, so V equals pi r square h. You know that r is going to be the radius and h is going to be the height. The formula for a cone is going to be volume is going to be equal to pi r square h, your height, divided by 3. Lastly, the volume of a sphere. That's going to be V equals 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Now, keep in mind that for a sphere, you need to multiply it to the third power. And for everything else, you have the r to the second power. Now, let's see some examples. So let's start with finding the volume of a cylinder. So in this cylinder, you're given the radius 4, which is going to be from the center of the circle to any point on the circle. So we know that this is going to be 4 meters, and then the height of the cylinder is 5 meters. So we're going to write the formula, which is going to be volume is equal to pi r square h, where h is your height. So let's label the things that we have first. We have r is going to be 4 meters, and your height is going to be 5 meters. So we're going to plug in the numbers. We have pi times 4 meters square times 5 meters. So let's start with order of operations. 4 times 4, that's going to give you 16 meters square times 5 meters. When you multiply 16 times 5, you get 80 meters cubed times pi. Now in this case, we don't want to be multiplying times pi because now you're going to get a whole decimal. So in some of the answers, you can actually just leave it like that. So you can just leave it as 80 pi, and then your units are going to be meters cubed. Whenever you were dealing with the area, you were going to get meters squared because it was two-dimensional. Right now that we're dealing with a volume, this is going to be a three-dimensional object, so you're going to have meters cubed. And volume is going to be what is the capacity inside this shape. Now let's find the volume of this cylinder, but in this case, we are not giving the radius. We are actually giving the diameter of the circle. Whenever you have a line that crosses the circle in half, that's not going to be the radius, but the diameter. And the radius is going to be half the diameter. So radius, we're going to write in, is going to be equal to the diameter divided by 2. So in this case, we have 6 divided by 2. So your radius is 3. Now, going back to the formula that we already know, volume is equal to pi r square h. Now, we're going to plug in the numbers. So we're going to do pi times 3 to the second power times the height, or in this case, you can see it as a width. It's going to be 10. So that's going to give you pi 3 times 3 gives you 9, times 10, and that's going to give you 90 pi, and that will be your answer. If I tell you that you need to give me to 1 or 2 decimal points, the only thing you need to do is multiply by 3.14. So let's say I tell you to multiply by 3.14, and you're going to do an approximation, which is going to be 282.6. To find the volume of cones, we're going to write the formula, which is going to be volume equals pi r square height, but now we're going to be divided by 3. So in this case, our r is going to be 2, and our height is going to be equal to 9. So we're going to plug it in. We have pi times 2 square times 9, and everything is going to be divided by 3. So let's start working with the numerator. So in the top, we're going to get pi, 2 times 2 gives you 4, times 9 all over 3. And then when you multiply 4 and 9, that's going to give you 36 pi divided by 3. Now you're able to simplify this, so you can divide that 36 by 3, which gives you 12 pi. And that is your answer. In some cases, they're not going to actually give you the height like this one, but they're going to give you what we call the slant height, this part right here. But we cannot use that number. That number is not good for us. So make sure you cross it out. But we actually are going to use that number to be able to find the missing one. In this case, I'm going to call it B, because we're going to use something that we already know, the Pythagorean theory. So we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In this case, we're going to have 5 squared plus b squared equals 13 squared. So we're going to solve this like in the previous videos. So we have 25 plus b squared equals 169, and then we're going to subtract 25 from both sides, and we have b squared is equal to 144. You're going to find the square root and get that b is equal to 12. So in this case, we're going to move that b and we're going to put 12. Now you go back to your regular formula. So the volume is going to be V equals pi r square h. So we're going to plug in our numbers. We have pi r is going to be 5, so 5 square times 12, and everything divided by 3. That's going to give you pi times 25 times 12 all over 3. 25 times 12 is going to give you 300 pi over 3. So when you simplify this, that is going to give you 100 pi. To find the volume of spheres, we're going to use the formula volume equals 4 over 3 pi r cubed. Now, we know that our radius is going to be 2, so we're going to do 4 over 3 pi times 2 to the third power. 2 to the third power is pretty easy, so you're going to do 2 times 2 times 2, and that's going to give you 4 over 3 times 8 pi. So now we're going to do 4 times 8 is going to be 32 over 3 pi, and that's it. You can actually simplify this if you want, but if you don't feel like simplifying, or if they don't ask you to simplify, this answer would be fine. In this case, we're actually going to simplify it, and that's going to give you 10.67 pi, which is fine. And if you even want to go a step further, and if you want to multiply by 3.14, your answer will be 33.49. So that's how you find the volume of spheres.